And I think, at this age, it's a 50-50 fight for Manny Pacquiao.
6-year-old.
You know what, man? It's all up here and it's here. It's what you got. It's what you use.
I like Pacquiao trying to hit a lick, you know what I mean? But Pacquiao not Pacquiao no more. It's tough to go against him in this situation because if it was some years ago, Pacquiao would beat Barrios.
Boxing legends are weighing in on the upcoming bout between Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios. Terence Crawford believes Barrios is a solid matchup for Manny, but he admits that Pacquiao's age introduces uncertainty. At 46 years old, Crawford sees the fight as a 50-50 contest. While he acknowledges Pacquiao's legendary status, he also questions how much the veteran still has left in the tank.
Have you got any thoughts on that fight with Mario Barrios, and is there any chance we see you still in there at 46?
Nah, at 46, I don't plan on being back in the ring, but Mario Barrios is a great matchup for Manny Pacquiao. And I think, at this age, it's a 50-50 fight for Manny Pacquiao.
Sugar Ray Leonard's comments strike a deeply emotional chord. His message goes beyond boxing. It's about courage, self-belief, and inner strength. As a legend who truly understands the weight of greatness, Leonard's encouragement for Pacquiao to follow his heart holds significant value. He dismisses concerns about age by stating, "It's not the number, but the mindset that defines an athlete's ability." His support highlights a universal truth in sports. Passion and willpower can often defy the limits that logic or age impose. Leonard's blessing reflects both personal admiration and professional respect for Pacquiao's enduring spirit.
Pacquiao, at 46, about to make his way back into the ring. I saw him training this morning, but a lot of people are worried about him. He's been inactive. Bob Arum, his longtime, guy, even said, I don't want to see him get hurt. Rooting for him, but I don't want to see him get hurt. What do you think as a guy, who's probably thought about getting back in the ring a few times? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think?
Well, actually, I can't comment too harshly on that because I've made more comebacks than everybody. I hold a record, undisputed.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, do what you want to do, man.
Do you think the idea of like inactivity when you have somebody who lives his life to do it is a big deal?
It's a big deal, man. I mean, there's no one thing that will really make people understand why we do what we do. But you know what? God bless. Stay healthy and take care.
Hey, last thing, like he's fighting a 30-year-old. What do you think? What would that be like running with a motor like that? Later in your years, like against a 30-year-old motor, against like your body's just different. I'm 41, so like I know my body's different than it was when.
You a baby.
But what do you think about that? Like the motor difference between a 30-year-old and a 46-year-old.
You know what, man? It's all up here and it's here. It's what you got. It's what you use. Again, there's no way to answer this, but stay healthy.
The return of Manny Pacquiao has reignited excitement across the boxing world, and legendary announcer Michael Buffer's reaction perfectly captures that sentiment, calling the comeback epic. Buffer noted that it's not uncommon for legendary fighters to return, especially when they maintain sharpness and discipline. His admiration wasn't just for Pacquiao's name, but for the impressive form he's shown in training. Buffer emphasized that Pacquiao isn't simply chasing past glory, he's preparing seriously and demonstrating real competitiveness. Unlike some comebacks that feel promotional, Pacquiao's return seems driven by genuine purpose. Buffer's words helped validate the effort and reminded fans that great champions can still surprise us. This isn't just about making history, it's about one of boxing's most iconic figures, proving that passion and preparation still matter. His remarks reflect the growing belief that Pacquiao's return might not just be symbolic, it could hold real significance in today's welterweight division.
Manny's one of your favorites all time. He's coming back now. He was off for 4 years. I've been watching him train every day. He looks like he hasn't missed a beat. He's sharp as could be.
And I wish him well. Big George, God rest his soul, was 45 when he won the heavyweight title. Bernard was 43, 44, 45 when he won his third world title. So, listen, miracles can happen. He's focused, he looks fit, and I wish him well. I love him. Wish him the best.
Mutual.
Picture?
Yep.
Okay, hold on.
although Sanchez offers a balanced perspective on the stakes of this high-profile matchup. On one hand, he acknowledges the risks involved in challenging someone like Mario Barrios, young, active, and dangerous. On the other hand, Sanchez turns to history as a reminder that boxing has always been a sport full of unexpected outcomes.
To tell them to hang him up, he's older, he's been out of the ring, he's fighting I'm not gonna say a young champion, but he's fighting a very decent champion, probably the lesser of the three of the welterweight champions, but he is getting up in age. Will he be able to recapture some of that speed and snap to his punches? Who knows? But George Foreman did it at a much later age, so Manny has a chance. I think that he has a chance against a good champion.
Do you feel like with Mario Barrios in particular then, it's a champion they've targeted because in his last performance, he didn't really, set the world alight. It was a draw and he's left a few question marks around himself.
Well, not only that, the other thing is Norman is a very good fighter, and so is Boots. I mean, you're talking about two very good fighters that are, I think, on a different level than Barrios is.
Do you feel like that this could be the risk where, let's say, if Manny was to have success, was to become champion again, then he then looks at it and thinks, oh, can I go on a run? Can I get one of these other names?
That is a big risk, but I don't think that would be the fight that, those two wouldn't be the fights that they would be looking for. I'm sure that if Manny is fortunate enough to be in great shape, and listen, Freddie's a master. Freddie will figure out a way to win a fight that's winnable, and maybe then guide him towards other.
The comparison to George Foreman suggests that while such comebacks are rare, extraordinary things can still happen in the ring. Oscar de la Hoya takes a protective stance when evaluating Pacquiao's return. His concern lies in the delicate balance between ambition and risk, particularly in a sport as unforgiving as boxing. De la Hoya emphasizes that physical readiness at 46 demands a different approach, warning that overtraining can potentially cause more harm than good. While he honors Pacquiao's legacy, he refrains from making bold predictions. Instead, he underscores the complex challenges that age and health bring into the equation. His cautious outlook adds a note of sobriety to the otherwise celebratory atmosphere surrounding the fight.
You're 46 years old. You have to remember that. So give your body some rest. Rest right now is Manny Pacquiao's friend in between training, in between sparring sessions. There's no shame in taking a day off or two, Manny. Trust me. Let your body relax, let your body rest. He'll do fine. He's experienced, he's got obviously the power, because it never leaves you. The speed I'm a little worried about, but I think, look, Barrios is a live dog. He's a world champion, and he's no slouch. So I think it's going to be a good fight. I wish Manny all the best. I'm not sure who's going to win. I really haven't seen Barrios, but I think Barrios, the youth is obviously, with him in his corner.
Robert Garcia's reflections highlight the unavoidable truth of athletic decline. Though he remains respectful of Pacquiao's storied career, Garcia does not shy away from the physical limitations that come with age. His concern focuses on how even the most elite fighters can struggle when facing younger opponents who possess clear physical advantages. Garcia isn't questioning Pacquiao's heart or skill, rather he's pointing out the limitations of the human body, something that even legends cannot fully escape.
Retirement.
Well, Pacquiao's a big name, and obviously Barrios a great fight for Barrios because he's a champion, and I think Pacquiao, being that they both have connections with PBC, that's the easiest fight to make. So, getting another title opportunity, I just the name obviously, but I really believe that Pacquiao shouldn't be fighting. I think it's actually going to be a little. I don't want to say sad because he's going to make a lot of money, so we can feel sorry for him. But at 46, almost 47, it's almost impossible for I'm just 4 years older, 4 years older than him, and it's not easy to try to think you're going to get in shape and be able to perform like the way you were when you were in your 20s and 30s.
You think it's impossible for him to beat Mario Barrios right now?
Well, it's not impossible because he has power. That he should have that power. Barrios is big and a strong boy, so I don't see that happening. But is it possible? Anything's possible. George Foreman did it. There's been others that do it. But I really don't see it happening.
But Pacquiao's speed's the name of his game. Do you think
he doesn't have that. There's no way he doesn't have the same speed as before.
There's no way, bro. You guys, I don't know if you guys seen his last performance.
The exhibition where against that big guy.
It was actually embarrassing to see that shit. You know, so it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. You know what I mean?
If Pacquiao wins, what does that do for him? Where does that put him all time?
Hell, come on, at that age, after like a few years, I don't know how many years he's been out. That'd be impressive. It's hard to think it's gonna happen, but that shit would be nice, man. It would be nice. Very few have done it, and he's actually one that could do it.
The analysis offered by Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora brings a sense of credibility to Pacquiao's return. Mora's observation about Pacquiao's maintained speed and fluid footwork speaks volumes about the fighter's consistent dedication to training, even during retirement. This isn't a flashy return engineered for quick headlines. It's a calculated and intentional comeback. By contrasting it with other short-lived returns, they emphasize Pacquiao's seriousness further, heightening both expectations and intrigue surrounding the bout.
Left, ready to go again, working with Freddie Roach. I feel like I'm back in 2010, the Wayback Machine. Pacquiao looked pretty good in some of the videos that I saw, like he wasn't in horrible shape, but he is 46 years old, going up against a guy that is more than a decade younger than him in Mario Barrios. Bob Arum, in the same interview, he said that he was worried about Manny Pacquiao. This is a guy that promoted Pacquiao for most of his professional career, not promoting this fight against Barrios, but he said he is concerned for Pacquiao going into this fight. Do you have concerns about Pacquiao going in?
No, I don't have concerns. And look, I can post a video and look good for 10 seconds right now. Just like when Mike Tyson looked like a killer when he was promoting the Jake Paul fight. You writers and you guys with the non-boxing, I need to get those videos out of your head, because they're just clips. Anyone could look good for that long. I can train you to look good for 10 seconds. It'll be pretty hard, but I can train you to look good for 10 seconds on video. So don't worry about that. I look, Bob Arum knows what he's talking about, because it's the legs that's gonna get to Pacquiao, not the power, not the explosive speed in front of a heavy bag. But whenever you're in front of an opponent and he's going to be moving around, it's the legs that are going to fail you. They're going to betray you. The power's not going to betray you. That lasts until the very end. His punch resistance, that's not going to betray him, because that never goes. Speed, and it's because you rely on your legs. That's the thing that goes at age. So at 46 years old, Manny Pacquiao's not going to have zero legs.
Jesse Rodriguez doesn't mince words when it comes to the risks Pacquiao faces. From his perspective, youth presents a significant advantage, particularly in the later rounds, where stamina and recovery become critical. His evaluation goes beyond paying respect to Pacquiao's illustrious career. It zeroes in on the stark physical disadvantages a 46-year-old may encounter. Rodriguez's comments serve as a warning, underlining the harsh realities of elite-level competition and raising important questions about the potential toll such a return could take.
Barrios, you got your boy Barrios fighting Pacquiao, man.
Yeah.
A legend. What do you think Barrios needs to do in that fight against Pacquiao, man?
I feel like he has to keep Pacquiao on the outside. He has a height and reach advantage, so I feel like he just go out there and do what he's always done.
What's your prediction for that fight?
Mario Barrios victory.
Do you think it goes all 12 rounds?
I think he has what it takes to stop Pacquiao.
You surprised Pacquiao's coming out of retirement at 46?
I'm very surprised. I don't think anybody expected that. So,
Teddy Atlas offers a technical counterpoint to the prevailing skepticism by highlighting that Barrios is not a natural welterweight. Atlas challenges common assumptions regarding size and strength, suggesting that the difference in original weight classes might actually work in Pacquiao's favor, potentially narrowing the expected performance gap. It's a subtle but important observation that shifts the narrative from one of imbalance to one of parity. Atlas's confidence adds a thoughtful and strategic layer to the growing excitement.
Not naturally as big a man as those other welterweights. So start there. That's a fair point. He moved up in weight, Barrios. So he's not a naturally big, natural welterweight. And of course, we understand Pacquiao has moved up. My God, I don't even know when he first turned pro. You would have thought maybe he could have been a jockey.
Yeah,
I mean he was
108 pounds, right?
Yeah, jockeys are about 105 pounds, I think, somewhere around that Neighborhood. I mean, can you imagine him though going to the whip? He might have killed the horse. That's the only thing. Yeah, you would have had Petter. What is it called? Peter, whatever. Peter. You would have had Peter coming after you. You know, look what he did to this horse. You know, but look, I love Pacquiao. One of my favorite people. One of my favorite fighters in the whole world. He's moved up from like whatever. Incredible weight. People forget about that. That's why I brought it up. How many weight classes this man has really moved up. Incredible. Just incredible. But now, yeah, Barrios wouldn't be as big as those other guys, but he's still a guy that's confident. He's a guy that's a world champion. He's a guy who throws a lot of punches. He's a guy who's younger, who's active, you know, who I know you can't go by this guy beat this guy, but he could beat that guy, but he could beat this guy, but you can't go by that in my business, in this business, because styles make fights. But you're right. He beat Ugas. You could say Ugas was a little older than when he fought him a little bit, than when Pacquiao fought him. Maybe that made a difference, whatever. But he did take a lot of punishment, Pacquiao, in the Ugas fight.
The divide in public opinion regarding Pacquiao's comeback captures both the emotional and professional complexities that surround it. Some view this as a historic opportunity for a final, triumphant moment. On the other hand, critics argue it risks becoming more spectacle than sport, drawing comparisons to recent celebrity boxing events. This debate reflects broader tensions around legacy, aging, and the commercial pull of nostalgia in modern boxing.
His network, his YouTube show.
1 second. Do you have, so you got Manny winning?
Yes.
You got Manny winning?
No. Against Barrios?
Yeah.
No, I think, look, every great fighter got one great fight left in him. That had to be Thurman. And Manny, I think Manny seems to want to, Manny appears to be like how Bernard and Roy were. Like, he's really one of those great old school fighters where you gotta he's gotta go out on his shield.
Yeah.
Going out on your shield used to not mean just in any given fight. It used to mean that's how they went out, period, fighters. And Manny's like that.
I do not want to see. It's really hard to see Manny Pacquiao losing to Mario Barrios because of who they are, but who they are now, you know?
Sean, I do not want to see like Manny on the knee, mouthpiece out. That's gonna hurt me.
Kevin McBride, Mike Tyson.
That's gonna hurt me.
Roy Jones Jr. brings admiration and a sense of awe to the conversation. His focus is not just on the comeback itself, but on the intense preparation that has brought Pacquiao to this point. The praise for Pacquiao's discipline and readiness is not given lightly. It reflects the extraordinary level of commitment needed to take such a bold step at this stage of life. Jones acknowledges that while many may attempt comebacks, very few do so with the seriousness and professionalism that Pacquiao displays.
Feel about Manny Pacquiao.
No, I love Manny, and I'm glad Manny going in too. I'm not saying that Manny is not capable. Manny is one of the dudes that I think definitely deserves to be in. Manny always has been and always will be one of my favorites because of the way he fights. I mean, a guy to come back after being knocked out in 2 of his first 3 fights, then come back and do all the things that Manny did, that story is also just as awesome as Vinny Pazienza's story. You feel me? I mean, come on. Most guys can't bounce back from a knockout period. He got knocked out early in his career twice and came back and did all this.
Well, you know what? Being that we're talking about these old fights, Roy, can you think you can rate your favorite 5 fights of your career of all time?
Of my career?
Yeah.
Yes. It would probably be James Toney, John Ruiz, Montel Griffin 2, Richard Hall, and probably Jeff Lacey.
Greg Hackett presents a brutally honest perspective, calling attention to the commercial aspect of the fight. While he doesn't deny Pacquiao's greatness, Hackett believes that time has taken away too much of what once made him dominant. He categorizes the bout as a money fight, suggesting that its primary appeal lies in nostalgia and spectacle rather than true sporting competitiveness. Hackett's stance is perhaps the harshest yet, but it voices a concern that many within the boxing world quietly share. Is this comeback driven by the pursuit of glory or just by box office numbers?
Sound like Pacquiao trying to hit a lick, you know what I mean? But Pacquiao not Pacquiao no more. It's tough to go against him in this situation because if it was some years ago, Pacquiao would beat Barrios. But right now, Barrios, with his momentum, might around and beat Pacquiao up. I mean, not knock him out, but you know what I mean, beat him on the cards, beat him behind that jab.
Similar to like Ugas, the Ugas fight?
Yeah, like on like that. It's a good fight, but it's more of a good fight for Barrios. Pacquiao don't need it, but Pacquiao want to come back, and he want to come back with a bang. So, I mean, why not? If he can make it happen, make it happen. Because I would love, if Barrios was my fighter, I would love to have a Pacquiao on record. I mean, I would love something like that. And that's a fight you know you got to get ready for.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next.